Welcome to Essentially Soulful. I'm your co host, Betty. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic that affects every single one of us: the powerful connection between what we eat and how we feel. Joining us is my co host, DeeAnna. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Betty. I'm excited to share insights about this crucial connection that many people overlook. I really started understanding the connection several years ago when I became certified as a wellness coach.
You know, DeeAnna, I was shocked to learn that 50% of Americans over the age of 14 experience significant depression or anxiety. Could what we're eating really be playing such a big role in this?
Yes, Betty, it's sad. What's particularly concerning is that the first symptoms of malnutrition often manifest as emotional imbalance, long before we see physical symptoms. A lot of emotional imbalance can be traced back to neurotransmitter deficiency, which is directly linked to our diet. And we don't have to go to the extreme of malnourishment to see the effects.
That's fascinating. Could you explain how our modern diet might be contributing to these emotional health challenges?
Well, think of your brain as a high-performance car. Just like a sports car needs premium fuel to run optimally, our brains need specific nutrients to function well. Unfortunately, the standard American diet, or SAD as we call it, is more like putting low-grade fuel in a Ferrari.
That's such a vivid analogy. What specific issues are we seeing with the modern diet?
There are three major challenges. First, we're seeing widespread nutrient deficiencies. Second, the heavy reliance on processed foods and corn syrup leads to constant blood sugar fluctuations. And third, there's this misconception about fats that's led many people to eliminate even the good fats our brains desperately need.
Could you elaborate on how these blood sugar fluctuations affect our mood?
Of course, when we consume foods high in refined sugars like many processed foods, we experience rapid spikes in blood sugar, followed by dramatic crashes. These crashes don't just make us feel tired, they can trigger anxiety, irritability, and even depression-like symptoms.
I've definitely experienced that afternoon slump after a carb-heavy lunch. How do good fats play into this equation?
Good fats are absolutely crucial for brain health. Our brain is actually made up of about 60% fat, and it needs specific types of fats, especially omega-3s, to maintain proper neurotransmitter function. When people indiscriminately cut out fats from their diet, they're often depriving their brains of essential building blocks.
That really challenges the low-fat diet trend we've seen for years. What are some good sources of these brain-healthy fats?
Some excellent sources include avocados, wild-caught fatty fish, nuts, seeds, and olive oil. For instance, starting every morning with eggs and avocado provides stable energy and supports brain function throughout the day.
Speaking of mornings, you've mentioned that breakfast plays a crucial role in mood stability. Why is that first meal so important?
Yes, breakfast sets the tone for our entire day's biochemistry. When we skip breakfast, we're essentially asking our body to run on empty, which can trigger stress hormones and lead to mood swings.
But many people say they're just not hungry in the morning. What would you say to them?
That's often because their eating patterns have trained their body to not expect food in the morning. It's like a cycle. Skipping breakfast leads to overeating later, which affects sleep quality, which then reduces morning appetite. But we can gradually reset this pattern.
That's really interesting. Have you seen significant mood improvements in people who start eating a proper breakfast?
Sure. I had a client who used to skip breakfast and rely on coffee until lunch. She struggled with anxiety and mood swings. Once she started having a balanced breakfast with protein, healthy fats, and complex carbs, she noticed more stable energy and significantly less anxiety within just 2 weeks.
That's remarkable. For our listeners who want to start making changes, what's a simple first step they can take?
Start with tracking your food and mood for a week. I recommend keeping a simple journal, noting what you eat and how you feel emotionally 2 to 3 hours after each meal. This awareness alone can reveal powerful patterns.
That seems very doable. Do you find that people are surprised by what they discover through food journaling?
Oh yes, people are often amazed by the patterns they discover. Many don't realize that their afternoon anxiety might be connected to their lunch choices, or that their morning irritability could be linked to skipping breakfast. The journal makes these connections crystal clear.
What What are some of the most common patterns you see people discovering?
The biggest one is the connection between sugar consumption and mood crashes. People often notice they feel anxious or irritable about 2 to 3 hours after consuming sugary foods. Another common discovery is how much better they feel emotionally when they eat protein rich breakfasts.
It sounds like timing of meals is just as important as what we're eating.
Exactly. Our bodies thrive on consistency. When we eat at regular intervals and maintain stable blood sugar levels, our mood tends to be more stable too. It's not just about eating the right foods, it's about creating a sustainable rhythm.
That's why you prefer the term food lifestyle rather than diet, right?
Yes, the word diet often implies a temporary change or restriction. But what we're really talking about is developing a sustainable relationship with food that supports both physical and emotional well being long term.
Could you share some practical tips for our listeners who want to start building this healthier food lifestyle?
Start with small, manageable changes. First, try to eat within an hour of waking up, even if it's just something small. Second, include protein and healthy fats at every meal. This helps stabilize blood sugar and mood. Third, try to eat every 3 to 4 hours during the day.
These sound like very achievable steps. What about people who have busy schedules or work unusual hours?
Preparation is key. I encourage meal prep on days off, keeping healthy snacks readily available, and planning ahead for challenging days. Even something as simple as having boiled eggs or nuts and seeds prepared can make a huge difference.
Speaking of preparation, are there specific foods people should stock up on to support emotional well being?
Yes, I recommend keeping a good supply of mood supporting foods. This includes omega 3 rich foods like sardines and walnuts, complex carbohydrates like sweet potatoes and quinoa, and plenty of colorful vegetables which provide essential nutrients for neurotransmitter production.
DeeAnna, we've covered so much valuable information today. For someone who's feeling overwhelmed by all these changes, what would you suggest as the absolute first step?
The most impactful first step is focusing on breakfast. Start with just that one meal. Make sure it includes protein, healthy fats, and some complex carbs. Even this single change can make a noticeable difference in your emotional stability throughout the day.
What about the emotional aspect of changing our eating habits? Many people struggle with this.
That's such an important point. Remember that this is a journey, not a race. Be compassionate with yourself. Start with that food mood journal we discussed. It helps create awareness without judgment. Focus on adding nourishing foods rather than restricting.
And how long might it take for someone to notice improvements in their mood?
Many people notice improvements in their energy and mood stability within just a few days of stabilizing their blood sugar through regular, balanced meals. More substantial changes in emotional well-being often become apparent within 2 to 3 weeks.
That's encouraging to hear. Before we wrap up, could you share your top 3 takeaways for our listeners?
First, start that food mood journal. Awareness is powerful. Second, focus on establishing a solid breakfast routine. And third, make sure you're including healthy fats and proteins at every meal for emotional stability.
Wonderful advice. For our listeners who want to learn more, where can they find additional resources?
I have free resources including meal planning templates and a food mood tracking guide on my website. I'll put the link in the show notes. The key is to start small and remember that every positive change, no matter how small, is a step toward better emotional well-being.
Thank you so much, DeeAnna, for sharing these invaluable insights. And to our listeners, remember, your next meal is an opportunity to support not just your physical health, but your emotional well-being too.